From Portugal to Los Angeles, I flew over 5,000 miles to see the future of gaming at Summer Game Fest.
Well, I made it. Now what?
Now we knock on some doors and play whatever they let us. On this channel, you can already find videos on Avatar Legends, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. We'll skip those games in this video because I want to show you everything else, like
Stranger Than Heaven.
Snoop Dogg and Tupac aside, the thing that excites me about Stranger Than Heaven is the brand new approach to third-person combat, where you control the right and left side of your character's body with the right and left side of your controller, specifically the bumpers and triggers. The demo we played was all about combat, and it is very different from anything else I have ever tried. It takes a bit to get used to, but overall, felt really good to play. Pairing feels kind of broken right now. If you got the timing down, these encounters become very easy, because even in a group fight, no one else attacks you while you're doing a riposte, and using weapons felt almost necessary sometimes. I was able to get through the 3 different fights they had lined up for us pretty fast, so I spent the rest of my time trying to beat this group of thugs without a weapon. That was significantly harder. After that, I tried tackling this final boss without a weapon and just could not do it. This one felt almost impossible. Combat may be a bit slower than what you're used to in these kinds of games, but you kinda need that to react to attacks in this system, because parrying or even blocking is gonna require you to read the opponent's direction. Basically, you're holding the block button, which is circle, and then you tap the left or the right bumper depending on where the attack is coming from. And there are a ton of special moves and combinations on top of that, since you can press all 4 buttons in the back in different sequences, and also hold them down for stronger attacks or even grabs. Really exciting game, looking forward to this one later this year. And I saw 2 more titles while I was at Sega. One of them was very spooky. The demo opened outdoors and it immediately showed how much this team has leveled up. This is so much more detailed and bigger and complex than anything they did in the first game. A really bold way of opening the game up, and then you find a crashed ship. You restore its power, and baby, I was right back in. If you played the first game, yeah, it felt exactly like that. Hard for me to say how much better it is, how much further it goes. It was a pretty short demo, but the vibes from the first game were untouched. But I couldn't leave Sega without taking a look at...
Dice, rolling like dice.
They locked us in a room to talk about this game for 2 hours, and didn't let us play it. Bruh. The conversations were really interesting though, because this game is not messing around. The director said that fighting games have evolved a lot, but they are still so niche. And they're gonna counter that by building a crazy single-player story with writers from Ghost of Tsushima, Persona, and Yakuza, making a story with 4 different protagonists whose stories cross each other, but also have different tones, with some being more gritty and others being more of a noir mystery style thing. On top of all that, it's not a linear story. You will have player choices that will affect outcomes, and my brain is starting to break thinking of how that's even possible. And then the gameplay is equally as ambitious. It's a semi-open sandbox with the fighting game mechanics working as the basis for combat. But it's not just 1v1s, you can fight against groups of people too, and overall it is the team's philosophy that the single player should help you prepare for multiplayer battles. It should be able to teach you the game. And at the end of the day, Virtua Fighter is focused around 3 buttons: punch, kick, block. So hopefully it's easy to pick up as well. Plus, in multiplayer, we got rollback and crossplay, and look, I know Virtua Fighter hasn't been popular in a long time. They know that. They have characters in the story who don't recognize the classics.
Who's Pai-chan?
What?
That's a direct reference to the real world. But if there's one thing I learned during this conversation is that Virtua Fighter Crossroads is not messing around. Is this gonna make fighting games mainstream? Fuck no. But we'll get a sick game while they try, and I'm all for it.
That's a lot of games. Where do we go next?
Blood Message is the first AAA single-player game from NetEase. I got to play it for 30 minutes, and for a first attempt, it's damn impressive. The biggest thing for me was how cinematic the combat is. It does take control away from the player constantly to deliver these moments, but if you're down for the journey, it's fun to play through these epic fights. During my demo, I also played a bit of stealth, a bit of parkour, while they shot arrows at me. I mean, it's pretty good motivation to run across rooftops. It doesn't necessarily feel new. Many games have done systems like this in the past, but it's well done. And coming from the success of Marvel Rivals, a single-player narrative-driven game was the last thing I expected from NetEase. But it feels like they're nailing it.
This is a giant robot head for a video game that's not here. Yeah, walk right in front of my shot, bro. That's what I call smart marketing. You know what is here, though?
We got another game with blood in the title, Blood Dungeon. Got announced at Summer Game Fest and I played it. And I don't know what the hell I played, bro. It's an auto shooter, so like Vampire Survivors, you don't actively shoot your enemies. You just choose which upgrades you want and move around, automatically killing everyone around you. So you can focus on movement, on dodging attacks, on getting health pickups, and the more you kill, the more XP you get, the more upgrades you can add to your build. It was chaotic, crazy. I still don't know what the goal is exactly, but I had fun doing a few runs in this new roguelite by the creator of Nidhogg.
A game that you played that you're like, you should try to do this when you do your appointment.
Okay, if you have I'll just say this, take an appointment with Star Wars Galactic Racer.
I did. Bro, what the hell? This game went from not being on my radar at all to, oh my god, I want to play it right now. Star Wars fans lose it over pod racing. Honestly, it does nothing for me. But this plays like Burnout, and it's a roguelike. In addition to all the stuff you expect, like normal races, multiplayer, it also has the roguelike campaign. There's a whole other game here that they had not announced before.
It's got to be the biggest, like, wait, I thought this was a different game.
Yes, I had like several layers of it. Like, oh cool, they're making a sequel to that 64 game. Oh my god, I didn't know it was Burnout devs that were doing it, ex-Burnout devs, and oh my god, this thing's a roguelike, you know? So like, wow.
Still in racing, I played Stuntman Hollywood. Well, you're not exactly racing here, you're a stuntman trying to perform a bunch of stunts in a track. But it felt like, what if we took a racing game and just did the cool parts? You know, let's ignore all the boring stuff. And then it does a bunch of brand deals and integrations like shooting a Back to the Future scene, maybe a Jurassic Park in the future, who knows? And depending on how well you perform these stunts, like how close did you cut that corner, how good was that drift, you get a high score, you get some stars at the end, and you can grind that out for a perfect shot or just move on to the next. I thought it was a cool idea.
Hi, Biscuit. What game did you see and did you like?
There was a few games, but I think one that blew me away was Onimusha. Try and do the perfect reflect 3 times on the boss fight.
I'm gonna eat you now.
I did that, and it was awesome. There's a demo for Onimusha out if you want to get a feel for combat. This demo didn't go much beyond what's already available out there, in terms of combat at least. I did play in a brand new area with a brand new story. What surprised me the most was just how open this place actually was. When I opened the map, for a second it felt like I was in an open world game. And to be clear, Onimusha is not going to be open world, but it does have these big sandbox moments full of opportunities to discover new side objectives and upgrades. And I don't know, I wasn't expecting these areas to be this big. But also, this boss was so cool. Leading up to him, you find out that everyone in this area has been asking this spirit for wishes. Your knees hurt? No problem. Let me just chop that leg off. There, it doesn't hurt anymore. So that was already sick to begin with, but then the boss is revealed, and gameplay-wise, you want to target this tether. It's kind of hard to deal with him while this thing is active. He also has a slow projectile that you can explode with an arrow or use the environment to protect yourself, and the gameplay is just like everything else. Way better if you master parries, dodges, and the E-Sen system. For E-Sen, basically, you gotta press the attack button just as you're getting attacked for a massive counterattack. But you can imagine that if you mess up the timing, you're taking a full attack to the face. That was pretty much all I saw at Summer Games Fest this year. Came away with a few new games that I'm definitely looking forward to buy, but let me know if anything you saw here actually looked interesting to you. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!